The New York Giants just got completely blindsided. Let's talk about it. My name is Paul. This is Big Apple Sports. If this is your first time tuning in, thank you very much. Please just take a quick second, like and subscribe. You can become a part of this awesome Giants community. Just a fun place to talk Giants football and support a team that I really think is building towards something special in the NFL. And today is going to be a day that I really need this Giants community because there has been a report. I'm sure by the time you watch this video, most of you will have heard it. But I'm going to need you to hit me up in the comments. I'll have several questions throughout the video. But this is big. And that news is that Dexter Lawrence has requested a trade, and he will not be participating in the team's offseason workout program that opens Tuesday. There is a ton to unpack here. And I guess first things first, hit me up in the comments. What do you guys think? So it sounds like, the Dexter Lawrence wants a new contract. And I mean, if I'm the Giants, I don't know that I really want to give it to him. He struggled last year, especially with, ever since that elbow injury, he has just not been the same. And it's like, he's going to be 30 in a couple years. Do you really want to give him another big-time long-term deal when last year his production was not good enough to warrant the money he's getting? So first thing I want you to tell me in the comments is, are you yeah, trade him, get rid of him? Or are you no, we need to figure something out, we need to extend him? But it's interesting because, just a couple weeks ago, the Giants at the NFL Combine were adamant that they were not going to trade Dexter Lawrence. A big reason for that is Denard Wilson was no, I want to work with him. He's the anchor of this defense. He's going to be super important. So it's surprising to see him a month later be I want out. Now, normally I wouldn't read through Twitter comments, but this first guy, Mr. Chicken, I don't know how valuable of a source Mr. Chicken is, but I actually think he's spot on here. It's a negotiation tactic. We've seen this too many times. So thank you, Mr. Chicken, for your contribution to this. But I do think that's a strong point, too, is we do see this a lot, where players want a new deal, they're not getting it, and then next thing you know, they publicly demand a trade, and they still end up staying with that same team and end up getting their deal. And it very well could be just a negotiation tactic. But that's where we get back into, is Dexter Lawrence worth giving a long-term deal? As we look at what his contract is, so he's getting paid, he has a $27 million pretty much cap hit this year. It goes down to $26.5 million next year. And they pretty much could cut him at the end of this year if they would like to, and only take on $7 million in dead cap. I think for Dexter Lawrence, I'm sure he's thinking right now, hey, if I don't have a good year next year, I might be about out of money in the NFL. So I'm sure he wants that financial security. But then when you get back to the Giants side of it, it's gosh, do we really want to pay him once he's on the wrong side of 30? He didn't look good last year. His elbow injury seems to be something that's just not going away. It's a tough spot. And then the next big thing we got to look at is, what would a trade package be for him if the Giants were to move on for him? It wasn't long ago, this I think is an article from about a month ago, that the Giants were saying he's untouchable. We will not trade him, he's untouchable. I think I saw Pro Football Focus listed Dexter Lawrence as their most valuable asset. I think if you're talking about what they could get, everything would start with the return Quinnen Williams got in his deal as, a Pro Bowl defensive tackle, which they got a 2026 second-round pick and a 2027 first-round pick. This article mentions that a front office source said he didn't think Lawrence would get that he's more valued as a second-round pick and then another mid-rounder. So that's kind of what we're looking at right now in terms of if they decided to trade him. And unfortunately, it probably does take a little bit of leverage away to know that, for one, he's going to want out. And for two, if somebody does sign him, or if somebody does trade for him, it's gonna be one of those trades where he's gonna have to agree to a contract before he comes to that new team. And that can also decrease trade value because it's like then not only are you giving up a trade asset for him, but you are having to commit future money to somebody who didn't really play up to their contract in their most recent season. So it's just a tough spot. And that's where you got to comment below. I need to hear from you guys too. Just let's talk this out. What would it take you to move on from Dexter Lawrence? Are you interested in signing him to an extension if that would make him happy and show up and have him this year? It's just, I think if I knew for sure he was going to move past this elbow injury and be perfectly fine this season and be back to the same Dexter Lawrence we've always known and loved, like I think it'd be an absolute no, don't trade him. Let's get an extension going. Sign him to 3 years, $30 million, whatever he wants, and let's move forward with him. But it's that elbow injury. Like it's just so tough to know if we're ever going to see him back to what he was. And then I do think this is a draft that has a lot of good options as well. So just kind of looking at like who's available in this draft at D tackle. I know a lot of people really like Caden McDonald out of Ohio State, Peter Woods, Caleb Banks, Christian Miller. Lee Hunter is pretty solid out of Texas Tech. There's some decent later round options with like Rayshon Benny and Zane Durant. It's tough. Like if you could add a late first round pick, like I think the Bears are a team that are really looking for some D-line help. And probably would immediately look into a trade discussion. And it's like if you could add their late first and draft a Peter Woods or a Caden McDonald there, is that worth it to replace Dexter Lawrence, have him on a rookie deal, no injury concerns, or do you like having the more proven asset in Dexter Lawrence? I don't know. One trade, as I was kind of looking through different things, I stumbled upon a Vikings website, who this was before Dexter Lawrence demanded a trade. They listed a bunch of, big-time draft trades that the Vikings could make. And a Vikings fan suggested they would get Dexter Lawrence and the Giants second, and the Giants would move up to number 18 and then get a third-rounder next year. And I think for me, that would probably be a no. I think you have to get a little more from Dexter Lawrence for that. Like, I think it'd be nice to move up to pick 18, but the way this year's draft works, I feel like the top 5 to 10, there are some elite players. Like, I think Jeremiah Love, Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs, Arvell Reese, Fernando Mendoza. Like, I think these are all blue chip players. But once you get past those first, 5 to 7, I don't know that those mid first round guys to me are that much better than those late first, early second round guys. And that's where it's I don't think I'd want to see the Giants only move up 20 spots, probably get, a D tackle that very well could be available later in the first round. To me, that one doesn't move the needle. I think if I'm the Giants, I'm looking for a first and a third. And I think if they were offered a late first, it'd probably be a late first and a late third. I think if I'm offered that, I'm taking it. I love Dexter. I think it's unfortunate to see things get to this point with him. But if you have the chance to, you can still take Sonny Styles in the first round. You get that late first and take Caden McDonald. Then use that early second on a Emmanuel Pregnon. Or, somebody else, maybe a corner, and then you add that third round pick. I think I would do that. I think with the injury concerns with Dexter Lawrence, I do think that would be worthwhile for the Giants. But, man, it's tough. It's going to be an interesting few weeks. I was so hyped for the start of, the Giants off-season workout program. I was expecting to, be able to share a bunch of articles about, man, the team's so bought in. Everyone's so excited. Everyone's 100% in on the team, and it's looking great. And instead, it's just boom. Dexter Lawrence wants a trade. He's not showing up, and that's life in the NFL. We'll see. You gotta respect Dexter Lawrence realizing his money-making years are in flux right now, and he wants some security before he puts himself out there again. But you know, you got to respect the Giant side of it too. That I don't know that you really want to commit anymore to a guy who just didn't play up to his contract last year. And I don't know, maybe they can give him a medical exam and feel more confident in that elbow. He said it wasn't an issue last year, but it was very clearly an issue. I think if you feel confident in his elbow and confident in him being his old self, then I think you do whatever you got to do to keep him. But I think if you're not 100% on that and you get a decent trade package, I think that's something to consider too. And especially, like, I think if you can really pour into the offense this year, like I've said many times, I think this Giants team can make the playoffs this year. I really do. And I think if you lose Dexter Lawrence, the defense is definitely going to be lacking and probably getting gashed in the run quite a bit unless a rookie really plays well. Like, if you can have an incredible offensive year where you've built around Dart and Dart takes that leap forward, and, you know, maybe the defense struggles a little bit and they end up going 9-8 or something, next year, especially if Dexter Lawrence is off the books, this team's going to have more money than anyone. And you are going to be able to replace Dexter Lawrence with a marquee free agent and really fill out that defense and be a true Super Bowl contender. So, like, when you're considering the money for Dexter Lawrence, it's not just Dexter Lawrence in a vacuum. It's, is he better than what we could spend that money on next year when we have significantly more cap space? That's something they're going to have to look into as well. So, lots of options here. Like I said, you guys comment below. I want to hear from you guys. We got to talk this out. Big time news for the Giants just completely came out of nowhere. But I guess not out of nowhere. We've heard Dexter wants a new contract, but, you know, not the news I expected to be sharing today. So comment below. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to sub and hit that like button as well on your way out.